Welcome to day 8 of 12 days of Pat McGrath Labs. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. Forgive me. And just as a warning, there's a truck parked in front of my building and I'm in a little bit of a time schedule, so I'm going to keep pressing on. But if you hear any rumbling in the background, it's the truck. What are you going to do? Divine Rose #2, released in 2020, and during that time, I think one of the craziest drops after the Star Wars collab that, yes, I didn't include in the series because the Star Wars palette was basically Mothership IV, all gold with Star Wars on the front, right? So yes, that was definitely a moment in Pat McGrath Labs history. I would say the second moment that where the internet crashed was the release of Divine Rose II, because not only did we get this palette, we also had the opportunity to pick up limited edition casing, one in the pastel pink, and this housed Divine Rose I that we saw yesterday. Yes, it is untouched collector's item, and the pink chrome that houses Divine Rose II. My goodness, I remember hovering the mouse, constantly refreshing the page, ensuring that I get these, not only these two palettes, but the actual Divine Rose II palette. And I gotta say, this was one of Pat's most popular releases because ever since the Divine Rose era started, it was just onslaught of pink on pink on pink, variations of pink. It just did not stop until I would argue, I call it Electric Garden, but Mothership 12, up through Moonlit Seduction, well actually Sunlit Seduction. It just was all pink, as you will see when we continue this series. But out of all the pink palettes, this was certainly many people's favorites, and you'll see why, because as I had mentioned from day one, that all of these palettes are artistry ones. You don't have to use just the shadows on the eyes, but you can use the powders on your cheeks as blush, as highlight, and as you just briefly saw, Naked Blush can be used as a beautiful crease shade or as blush on the face, as well as Rose Seduction. Rose Seduction is more of a satin formula, but it'll blend and apply like more of a satin blush. And then we have VR Sextraterrestrial. Never before did we have a Blitz formula shade in a duochrome. You saw like the VR Fire Opal moment and other VR moments in the trio, right? But now to have a duochrome formulated in the Baked Blitz formula, to have the smoother formula in Bronze Rose 005, Gold Lust 001, and Astral Pink Moon, which took on more of like a pink shift to the backdrop shade as opposed to Astral Solstice. It was cooler undertone, more like a disco ball dust hue to it. And as I had said yesterday on day 7, even though not my favorite color story, Divine Rose II easily is one of the best performing palettes out of all 12. The consistency from the mattes through the metallics, the Blitz shades, the VR shades, the triple number shades, just unparalleled. They're smoother, they're easier to pick up with a finger, with a brush, to lay down. There's not as much fallout, they're not as flaky, but you still get that remarkable shine and finish on the lids. It's incredible. So we're gonna get into it, and I had already applied my foundation, and that was the Givenchy Prsime Libre Glow Serum Foundation in 4.5N, followed by the Burberry Concealer in 85 MC. And as we've been doing, I'll decide on highlight, blush, bronzer, maybe lips when I get the eyes done. I already applied my Linda Hallberg Till the End primer. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. On the lids for a fresh start. And the brows were already on, but maybe I'll fix them a little bit depending. I'm so excited because I am just thrilled since going into one of my most favorite metallics, Divine Dusk, as you see here, is like a beautiful plum, and Eleganza. Eleganza reminds me of Lovelace, but my goodness, there's a little more of a warmer hue to it. And Divine Dusk, maybe not as shiny as Eleganza, but man, what a beautiful smoky plum effect it has on the lids. And of course, VR Sextraterrestrial. What a conversation starter. Now, we've seen this duochrome flip before, but to have it in this baked formula, that look how smooth and just easy the pickup is. My gosh. And with Bronze Rose 003, again, one of the smoothest performing triple number shades out of all of Pat's palettes, because you saw how Bronze Blaze was a little chunky. I think Bronze 005 and Sublime was a little chunky. Blood Moon, a little chunky. These though, Gold Lust 001, a tougher shade to deal with because it's so yellow. I mean, yellow is almost like a burnt yellow, but it's fine. We're gonna figure it out. And then Astral Pink Moon. Talk about one of the smoothest astral shades in the portfolio. Look at that. You can't go wrong with that. With that said, I don't know what to start with. There's so many eye looks I want to go with, and of course I'm only doing 2. But just to demonstrate how smooth these triple number shades are, I'm picking up Bronze Rose 005. I might have picked up too much, but it's fine. Tapping on the lid, and again, even though these are not as chunky as other triple number shades in her previous palette, definitely you can use the Intensifies wand just to ensure better stick to the lid, and also it will increase the shine intensity of the shadow. No shadow here on the brush, just tapping around the edges just to smooth the application. Now this traveled quite high. I picked up a lot of Bronze Rose, but it's fine, we're gonna figure it out. Taking some Gold Lust and placing that not only on the inner lid but on the inner corner, so you're gonna get a more prominent serving of that yellow gold on the inner corner, but will appear more coppery gold where Gold Lust and Bronze Rose meet on the lid. And just taking a little more of the Bronze Rose here so it could appear more even. Now with these mattes, I'm going directly in with Extreme Burgundy. Extreme Burgundy definitely has more depth than what we saw from Extreme Mahogany, right? That has a richer plum tone to it. So I'm tapping on the edge of Bronze Rose. I'm being careful because I don't want the particles that are on my crease to flake off. I'm tapping down to not cause a lot of agitation, but I realize that this is quite large of a brush. So I'm switching here to a shader, but because it's smaller, I'm using it to smooth the edges of that application and then tapping around, yes, and I'm placing more of that matte on the outer lid to create more of a pronounced bracket of smoke. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I like what's happening. A little bit of Extreme Burgundy here on the lower quarter. Astral Pink Moon, I know. On the lid, light tap to add that twinkling dimension. Ooh boy. Astral Pink Moon is pretty. If you love Astral Solstice, this will give you more of like that icy pink. Actually, is more of a warm champagne pink. It's not completely icy like Astral Solstice. It's lovely. And the lower inner lash line, I think will be fun actually to place Rose Seduction there. Just a soft serving of that pink. It has a beautiful hue to it. It's almost like a pink magenta, like a hot pink magenta. Oh, the truck finally left. Now for this side, I want to lean into Divine Dusk and Eleganza because those shades in my opinion are the best performing ones. Eleganza first on the inner part of the lid, not covering it completely as I want to reserve a good portion of my outer lid for Divine Dusk, and tapping that on the section where I didn't place Eleganza on, and tapping over the border here to form that bracket. And I could follow up with Extreme Burgundy, but I think I'm just going to actually rely on Divine Dusk for the shading that's happening on my outer lid now, and actually using my blender, but not using swirl and twirl. I'm taking soft strokes to have better control over this texture, right? Because I don't want a ton of fallout, and you could risk getting some because again, this is not a matte, it's a metallic and it has a lot more sparkle in there. I already got some on the cheeks, but it's fine. Gonna kick that off. But see the shading that occurred with Divine Dusk without us having to apply extreme burgundies? Not bad, right? Inner corner highlight. Let's go with the Skin Show Rose Opal. Why not? The Skin Show shade, always in a Mothership and does well. Is a light shimmer shade. It does what it needs to do. Outer lower lash line here with a little bit of Divine Dusk. And on the lower lash line, we can go in actually a Gold Lust. Why not? Gold Lust will be a nice color brightener, if you will, to have on the lower lash line because we applied Gold Lust on the inner corner for our first eye. And why not Bronze Rosé on the center, and that shadow bridges Divine Dusk to Gold Lust. Why not introducing another shade? So it definitely has more of like a copper hue to it when applied with both shadows. And look, I didn't even use Naked Blush. I didn't. But if you wanted, and this is where I was explaining how Divine Rose II just dominates Artistry palette aura, because you can take Naked Blush, as I am here with this brush, and use it as blush. And it moves well, it doesn't look too dry on the skin, and you can even apply I forgot, wait a minute, hold on, I'm gonna take this off. I completely forgot to apply VR Extraterrestrial. I know, because I wanted to give the other shades a chance. I did, but I completely forgot to apply this shade as not only a main stage lid shade, but it's fantastic if we apply it as an inner corner accent shade. So gently taking off Gold Lust. I'm sorry, I still love you, but we gotta go in with Extraterrestrial. And let's tap to dry. Although a little bit of moisture is definitely going to amp up the finish, okay? Now you can see that fuchsia, that's the color I was thinking of before. It's like a fuchsia and forest green flip, but man, is it nice to have on the lower inner lash line, especially if you feel is a little too intense on the entire eye. But I can also do this, place that on the base of the lash line and kind of tap up to amp eleganza, and that will be like the center. You see that? And again, because the texture isn't chunky, you don't risk it looking heavy on the lid, even though I had already applied a metallic there. And because we have to, picking up a little bit of Astral Pink Moon and dabbing that on the inner corner for some extra bling. Let's smooth this base out. Ooh, this is looking good, man. I think the blush is looking good. I don't think it's necessary actually to add a bronzer or contour. Yeah, I don't do so each time anyway. And like I had said yesterday, going in with the Divine Rose highlighter, because since the shades here on the eyes are a little warmer than Divine Rose, going in with the more gold tone, which till this day, the Divine Rose highlighter is one of the best highlighters I have in my collection, because this is a similar baked texture that is just easy to pick up, but my gosh, high shine finish on the blend. And yes, there's not much of a distinct pink to gold flip. You see mostly gold, like a light gold, but it's still pretty. All right, let's apply these lashes and I'll be right back to decide on the lip. Here we go again, trying to decide on the lip color. I was thinking maybe ABH's Spice, but I was also contemplating Rouge Dior 629 in Velvet or Parade from their holiday collection. Okay. You know, I kind of just want to put on a brown lipstick. So I think it'll be interesting to have the warmer brown on the lip paired with the what's going on here on the eyes. Let's try Cacao Temple. Hold on. This is working. Even though it's a brown, it's more of a red brown. Actually, more of a mahogany. I know we had extreme mahogany in Divine Rose, but I think this is in the wheelhouse of color. Ooh, that's pretty. And here are close-ups of the final look. And my apologies, I forgot that Divine Rose II holds a special place in my heart because this was the first palette I received as PR from Pat McGrath Labs. I'll never forget it. I was on the verge of tears because it was a brand that I felt was so far out of my reach in terms of PR, receiving PR from them. And I filmed a ton of Pat McGrath videos up until that point, and to now have received it as a gift, I was completely beside myself. It was a fun time. Definitely one of the highlights of my YouTube career, you can say. Again, even if this isn't my personal favorite, it just represents a significant part on the timeline for me. Receiving Pat McGrath PR for the first time, having such a huge launch. I think this was also when I stood in line to get like a poster or something, but I don't think I ever got it because I had to teach class. It was somewhere in the West Village, but unfortunately I didn't have time to meet Pat because it was like a meet and greet that was set up and the line was crazy long and I had to go. But I think the poster was a part of the release. I can't remember if the poster released with Divine Rose I. I think it was in the Divine Rose II. There were a lot of perks when ordering from the website, and because I ordered 3 palettes, probably it was eligible for a poster. I can't quite remember, or maybe it was in a gift bag. My gosh, so long ago, I should have took notes, but I got it framed because again, this was one of the highlights of my life, and Divine Rose II might not be for everyone. Definitely, I would categorize this as more of an artistry palette. This has a lot more punch, and like I had said before, the performance is S tier. These special shades that people had complained about previously, the chunkiness, the fallout, the glitter, this palette was high performing. The chunkier textures were smoother. They were easier to deal with. It was phenomenal. And sure, I might not wear eye looks like this all the time, but woo, is it a fun time when I do. And VR is extraterrestrial. Again, we've seen that duochrome before, but to have it in this smooth formula that instantly transforms anything you apply it on, but just adds immediate pizzazz to however you want to go with the eye looks, right? It's phenomenal. What can I say? And as we continue the series with day 9, Mothership 9, Utopian Dream, I can't wait to get into it because I have some thoughts on it. But before we get there, make sure you like this video by clicking that thumbs up. It helps me immensely in letting the YouTube algorithm know that I'm worth watching, will now continue to watch, and is now going to suggest my video to other Divine Rose II enthusiasts such as yourself. And consider subscribing because the series isn't over, more on the way, and you'll know when that new video drops, especially when you click that notification bell. Friend, if you've been watching me ever since that video I received Divine Rose II as PR and you're still here, I thank you. But if it's your first time here, please stay, peruse some more. Maybe I'll see you in the next video here. I'll definitely see you down in the comments for this one, and on here again next time.